Matt Walsh is continuing to call for a crusade of unity on the right. However, there's an endless swarm of subversive serpents sitting in his way, one of them being James Lindsay. Have fun with your new friends, Matt. I've extended the olive branch to everyone. If you don't want it, then you've chosen your side, and there's nothing else for us to ever talk about again. So be it, James. You just proved my point, Matt. If I'm not on your side, then I've chosen their side. This is what you meant by unity all along. But you don't have that authority over everyone's conscience, such that you can dictate who they are based on, whether or not they band with you. Whoa! James Lindsay is challenging Matt's call for unity, saying it is the wrong decision because it challenges and destroys everything he's worked on for the last year and through his entire career for. Now, if you don't know who James Lindsay is or what he's about, we're going to discuss some of the things he's advocated for and the things he's done in the past.
Like Matthew chapter 4 with Satan's arm around Jesus saying the whole world down there that you can see could be yours. Exactly. Just be woke with us.
I don't think that's how it's written in Scripture. I don't think Satan asked Christ on the last temptation, I can give you everything if you just be woke with me. Seems like a bit of a bastardization or reinterpretation of Scripture.
And then it's like, Jesus said what to that temptation, that third temptation of Satan in the wilderness? He said, my kingdom is not of this world. And so if you can't keep your mind on that and realize that your kingdom is of the truth and that you have to stand before that, whether that thing is God on Judgment Day, if you're a Christian, you believe that. If you are maybe not so Christian, such as myself.
Okay, see, we're getting a lecture about what Scripture really means and the hermeneutics behind it from an atheist, from a man who does not believe in Christ as our Lord and Savior and the Messiah delivered upon us by God.
You might think that it's merely your conscience, the people I care about most in my life, like my wife and my family, looking at me and thinking you sold out is an unbearable thought to me.
Absolutely unbearable thought for him. Absolutely disgusting thought for him to have his wife and children look back at him as a total and complete fraud. Well, here, if you're not familiar with this woke concept that you've heard before, maybe, James is a little bit different, and it's a little bit more finessed, rounded out a bit. It was a little bit more spastic and spurgy back in the late part of last year, but now he's kind of got the ideas and concepts he wanted to discuss about it rounded out more. So let's go through why everything is woke right and what wokeness really means.
People that push right-wing values. I don't know why this is the least bit complicated to anybody. In fact, I don't think it's complicated to anybody at this point. I think that the people online are either faking or pretending that it's complicated, or they are actually woke right, refuse to admit it about themselves, or therefore in denial, and therefore try to say things like woke right doesn't mean anything, and so it's confusing. But what we have is
just don't completely reject my absurd concept that I invented out of my ass.
What I've run into is that if I go out in real life and I talk to people, and I've got about 10 friends who have told me the same story, some of whom are, pretty savvy individuals. And it doesn't matter if they're talking to kind of politically engaged people. It doesn't matter if they're talking to absolute normal people. And the phrase woke right comes out of their mouth, and the person says back, what is a woke right? And they say, it's people on the right who act exactly like the woke. They're usually doing identity politics. It's usually anti-Jewish. It's pro-white. It's pro-Christian.
Oh no, those pro-Christian positions. We can't be having that. No.
Whatever, but it's blatantly identity politics the way the woke did it. Period. The end. Everybody gets it. Oh, I've seen those people.
Oh, it's identity politics. Kind of like how you identify people as woke right. Yeah, it's identity politics.
Everybody understands this. I mean, we can talk as deep as we want. Woke means having critical consciousness. I've done like a million things explaining when they say James has changed the definition to sneak this in and says woke means critical consciousness. Like, dude, go back to 2019. I have changed nothing.
I've changed nothing other than applied it to all the people on the right. It no longer means these ultra-progressive lunatics who are pushing gender diversity and how men can be women but gender doesn't exist, or how race doesn't matter but white people are all evil and should be exterminated. Yes, that's what it means. It's not these delusional retards that contradict themselves constantly. No, not certainly like you.
Except that I'm saying it also applies to some people who are on the political right, not just people who are on the political left. At no point did I go around running straw men like woke just means being like an angry lesbian feminist or something like that, or a BLM person or Antifa. I mean, people like Tucker Carlson have said that, and they tried to summarize, and I just kind of put my hand on my face. It's like,
oh, you're so stupid. Come on, bro. Woke is much bigger in depth of meaning like this. It's not just a meme that came out.
That's not like, that's back before kind of Tucker became this character of suspicion, and he would give these oversimplified, highly
Tucker Carlson is woke right.
Particular definitions of woke.
So James Lindsay has a more rounded out idea about who is woke right and what is woke right, but let's hear him complain about specific people that he accuses of being woke right Nazi fascists.
Attitude appearing not just in contemporary commentators that are on like the internet. There've been a rampant defense, whether it's Mike Cernovich, whether it's Carl Benjamin, whether it's who knows how many of them have come out in defense of Karl Marx being a great writer, having great criticisms of great criticisms of liberalism and capitalism. You have them.
Oh, they're all woke right. Carl Benjamin, the liberalist, is woke right. Mike Cernovich, the man who had sex with a tranny, is woke right. Yes.
Coming out defending Marx. You have Chris Rufo coming out.
Rufo.
He's relatively classically liberal as far as the
just hates
kind
everybody.
of spectrum of woke right goes, but he's out defending Antonio Gramsci and
Chris Rufo is also woke right. They're all
his counter-hegemonic cultural Marxist model as a model for conservatives to embrace. I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff going on, and we can talk about other people like whether it's Patrick Deneen, who said that we can pick up the tools of Marxism and that the analysis of liberalism and capitalism are very good. He's a serious philosopher on their side at Notre Dame.
The woke
we
right
can talk
side.
about the same kind of stuff coming from characters like Gladden Papin or Paul Gottfried, who's argued openly that there can be no such thing as a woke right and that I'm completely mistaken. We can just
Everybody who disagrees with me is woke right, okay? That's how it works. That's how we identify our friends and foes.
go down the list of these people embracing it. So it's not just a weird, like, couple of weirdos doing this. It is a mainstream in the woke right, from the philosophical to the activist to the commentator. It's everywhere. So that said, what kind of things are they doing with the critical consciousness?
It's everywhere. The woke writer in the walls, in the stairs, hiding in my closet, underneath my bed. Everything and anybody is woke right if they disagree with me. If they disagree with me, then they're 100% woke right, and there's no challenging that. In fact, Milo Yiannopoulos was nice enough to make us a little chart, a diagram about all the different people he's called woke right, okay? I'm gonna put it on the screen there for you guys to read, and we'll zoom in, but there's a massive list, and it's titled, Every Conservative James Lindsay Has Called Woke Right. Beautiful. Graphics by @Nero. Data by that guy, Kaiser Longram. It was a little thread that they made back in the day. So there's a bunch of Baptists right there, random foreigners, some guy, trad cats, Christian nationalists, paleocons, philosophers, miscellaneous right-wing, British right, national conservatives, organizations, Anons. he called Anon accounts woke right. Fucking Trad West Homath. Homath is woke right. Groypers, mainstream mega, and anti-interventionists and anti-Zionists. All of them All of them to James Lindsay are woke right because they disagree with his insane ideas and concepts. It's really unfortunate for James that it went this way. And if you could imagine with James Lindsay challenging everybody, calling everybody a racist, fascist, KKK, Nazi, woke right, crazy person, it's kind of had a bit of an effect on him financially, clout-wise, and being able to get attention from people or to take him seriously.
The question that I had was, you mentioned that there was a concerted effort to cancel you. Can you share with us a little bit more what happened and how that came about?
Sure. I mean, I'll just preface this by saying, like, I'm not a stranger to controversy, and I'm not a stranger to leftist, fury. I'm actually not only familiar with how, cancellation attempts and struggle sessions and things have proceeded through the entire, identity politics crazy era.
The entire crazy period of identity politics, and we'll zoom forward a bit.
And then relaying what it is to survive a struggle session, to be subjected to one. And cancellation is just a kind of close cousin to the struggle session environment. So I preface all that to say that there's such a thing as saying something dumb on the internet and getting blowback. And then there's something else that's very recognizably different, which is this kind of grotesque, over-the-top swarm behavior, mass-scale attack. It has very little interest in the truth. It's got a narrative about the target that it drives. It doesn't matter how you defend yourself. Everything you say to defend yourself makes the situation worse. There's no attempt to try to understand what was being said. There's only the kind of anger, the attempt to punish rather than to correct.
They punished me! I said something stupid on the internet, and everybody didn't like it and called me a crazy lunatic and canceled me. What a shame. What a shame things blew up on yourself because you said something incredibly stupid that nobody agreed with whatsoever. It kind of happens sometimes, James. Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. But most certainly, I don't think you've ever been the hammer. You're just kind of someone people nail on because you're incredibly dumb and mid-witted.
And so I tried to hold back. And then finally, President Trump, at the end of September, on apparently the day of the Feast of St. Michael.
This is what happens.
Michaelmas, or whatever it's called in the Catholic calendar.
Why you gotta
tweets a picture of the famous picture, the painting of St. Michael, or Michael the Archangel, slaying the dragon of Satan. And he puts the prayer of St. Michael, which was composed, I think, by Leo XIII, but certainly had been said at the end of a lot of masses. I think John Paul II had it stopped being said.
So Trump posted the prayer of St. Michael, something that was said and used in Catholic doctrine and services for many, many years. And he was just like, guys, hold up here. This is really woke right. This is woke right of Donald Trump to post. And he shouldn't have done that because now I know he's one of my enemies.
Side. And this whole weird occult vision, which, by the way, also identifies in writing, I can show you the writing in Blavatsky's The Secret Doctrine, for example, it identifies Michael the Archangel as identical with Satan.
That's right. An anti-Catholic book or doctrine or lesson from some guy, whatever his name he said right there, said that Michael the Angel is actually identified with Satan. It's satanic cultish worship. Catholic scripture, tradition, is now satanic, coming from a guy who's not Catholic and not Christian. Great.
So they believe that there's this weird esoteric spiritual occultist
that wouldn't piss people off.
I got this tweet, guys, saying, guys, this isn't great. Be careful with this. I don't think this is very Trump. So I think somebody put Trump up to this. And here's this occult stuff you might actually want to be aware of. And man, did I get blowback? Okay, so let's just assume that I said something stupid and insensitive on the internet. I don't think I did, but let's just say that I didn't word it well enough.
I didn't do nothing wrong. I'm innocent. I'm a good boy. I'm a good non-Christian criticizing Catholicism. Mistakes were made there, Lindsay.
For somebody's pieties and sensitivities, fine. So you get, people saying, dude, that was awkward, or it kind of falls flat, or you get some ugly comments back.
You sound like a schizophrenic freak.
I got a full-scale explosion, the likes of which I'd only seen twice before. Once was not when we released a grievance studies affair. It was when I got let back onto Twitter. The left went after me. The left got me kicked off Twitter in the old days in 2022 for 5 months. Elon bought it. During those 5 months, brought me back. And I was subjected to one of the worst, online struggle sessions I've ever seen. Basically, for a month, relentless harassment.
Relentless harassment from the left, okay? The left were harassing him because James Lindsay was a left-winger, okay? He advocated for leftist teachings and doctrines and had a great relationship with different philosophers and people on the left. And the video hopefully finished reloading.
To explain makes it worse, and everything just gets twisted further and further in this narrative. So I said, oh my God, they're canceling me.
They're canceling me!
Which means they were waiting for something to cancel me over because it's too stupid to cancel me over that. So they're trying to take me off the table in advance of this power grab that I believe they're going to have that I've already been kind of indicating I'm aware of. Crap, they're going to move. So I was like, okay, they're canceling me, woke right. They're woke. They're doing woke stuff. They are coveting power. They have a plan. And they
They're canceling me! I'm getting canceled! People didn't like what I said! They disagreed with me, so they're all woke, right? All of you who disagreed with me, calling a Catholic prayer actually satanic worship, you're wrong!
have to get their enemies off the table. And it wasn't just me, people who might see through it or call it out or disagree with it. They were taking out other people in the movement as well who, were targets that they could end up rallying around, often in very, ugly and inappropriate ways. And I just thought, it's now was the time to fight this.
Now's the time to fight this. Challenge the wokies.
Before they can start filling the administration.
Oh, come on, you stupid video.
Before they can plan to do it. Their own writings indicate, for example, the writings surrounding the Society for American Civic Renewal, which is their secret society that they use, explicitly say that one of the objectives of the organization is to prepare and place leaders for the future regime that they intend to install. So they have secret
Grand
society
conspiracy.
with people behind it intending to get people placed into positions of power. And we know, for example, that the CEO of the Claremont Institute is a member of SACR because he said he is.
He's
so
connecting
all
the dots.
directly attached to them with lots of people who are politically active, and their goal is to place themselves with their ideology into positions of power for a coming administration that doesn't exist yet. I was like, oh, better call this out. And then I paid the exact price you would expect for calling out something that's a highly organized movement to take power. They ended my career.
You say they ended your career. In what way? You're still very visible. I may not pay you much to be on Twitter or X, but how did they end your career? What other things have been canceled?
Okay, so the primary way that I have a fairly diversified way of making money as things work out in the world today, but I mean that in a very prosaic way. I used to make most of my money through speaking fees. I frequently was invited to speak at conservative events. Of course, everybody's right. I'm not saying anybody's violating
Conservative Christian events, mind you.
me or censoring me or any of this crap. It's everybody's right to decide who they want to speak and who they don't want to speak. That can be on true pretenses or false pretenses. It can be that they moved on. It's that they have other things they want to cover. It can be that there's these alleged scandals that they've, ginned up about me, and so they don't want to get into the drama. Whatever it happens to be. It can be that they believe that I hate Christians, but we do know that they were deliberately calling people who had contracted me to come speak, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I know this because the organizers themselves told me and said, you need to get away from him, and your donors
He's
are going to want you to
subversive.
get away from him. This is going to be a big problem because he hates Christians. He's a subversive against conservatives. He's actually a crypto secret communist. Turns out, no, I'm not, by the way. And so these
Lies.
messages were happening
You are.
locally. So I went from speaking on average between 3 on a very light month, 3 times a month, giving public addresses usually for all of my honoraria were very modest. I'm not a greedy grifter type person. They're very small by these standards, but I still got them. I went from doing anywhere between 3 and 15 speeches a month to doing zero. So that entire sentence.
Oh no, what a shame! What a shame! You speak up about Christian doctrine, bastardize it a little bit as an atheist, and then all the Christians that you're speaking to, like, yeah, we really don't want to talk to you. You're kind of a subversive. We don't really enjoy your interpretation of things. You're not really the type of character that we want saying, hey, you must agree with me, the atheist, on your Christian doctrine. No, that's called being a false prophet, Lindsay.
Of my income gone. Obviously, there's a huge subscriber base on my website, which keeps the lights on there. I pay myself a modest salary. We lost more than half of our subscribers through this relentless campaign. That could be
This is a campaign against me to cancel me. All the woke writers were canceling me. I most certainly didn't turn on my audience and my fan base whatsoever. No. It's because they're all wrong and I'm right.
choices. It could also be part of a relentless campaign. It could also be part of a smear campaign, which there are. I could definitely do some defamation lawsuits and win if I had the metal to deal with courts at this point. And then, X still does pay me to tweet some, relatively small amount, and so that's cute. But, it's also contingent, right? There are people who get demonetized for any number of reasons that nobody actually...
So it's tough out there. It's tough out there for Lindsay. He later on states that he lost like 85% of his income of all of his subscribers, and it's glorious. That's what we wanted to see. That's what we want to have happen to Lindsay, because he is subversive, and he is a snake that should have never been trusted in any capacity whatsoever. Because, like I said, he's an atheist. He's a godless heathen, coming in, telling Christians how they should believe, what they should believe, and what their doctrine really says. And this is in 14th of September, 23. A great thing about being a godless atheist is that when I get up in the morning and eat breakfast, I don't have to be grateful for any of it, because I don't even have a basis for gratitude. So why waste time and energy pretending? I don't have to be gratitude. I don't have to wake up in the morning and be like, wow, it feels good to be alive, taking a breath of air, taking care of my family, having food, access to food, running water, electricity. It's so great. But he never really appreciated the gratitude and the success and wealth that he earned during it, which is why he lost it all, but will cry about losing it. So James Lindsay, he was an atheist, but now he's different. He's a different man. LOL, I'm not gay. I'm not even an atheist anymore. Nope. James Lindsay is a Gnostic now. 4th of December, 2024. After he was canceled, after everyone shut him down, he's no longer an atheist. He was changing his beliefs because everyone got mad at him for the things he said about Trump. Yes, that's gonna help you, James. That's gonna help you for stopping all of your audience from leaving you. You're going to go from being an atheist to a Gnostic. Maybe it just points out the fact that you're nothing but a liar who's willing to do anything if as long as it means you get paid. Here I am, Lord, send me. Kissing the wall, kissing the temple wall in Jerusalem, the third temple, I guess second temple or whatever. He just goes out there, does all the things, makes the media a big stink on the media, knows a lot of people don't agree with him, point out that he's getting like $7,000 for doing this, that, or the others. But that's just who he is. He doesn't actually hold really concrete beliefs and standards. Nope. He's willing to hold any kind of belief as long as he's paid for it, which is why now he's a man of Jewish faith, and he believes in the Jewish doctrine. But he still won't step away from criticizing Christians, calling them unchristian, and pointing out that he is the real Christian, the real man, the real chosen people, because he kissed the wall in Jerusalem. Good old atheists trying to use a dead man's beliefs to serve their political goals. Why are there so many demons posing as Christians, as someone not in the faith, but very warm to it? It gives me tremendous pause. Oh, let me tell you who's a demon, who's not. Trust me, my Christians. And here's one of his continued simps, continuing to simp for James Lindsay and his many false teachings. It has been so from the beginning. Lucifer was the highest, most powerful, beautiful angel, the closest to God. He has always been masquerading and leading his followers to do the same. They imitate and prevent that what is true and good and God's because they know nothing is more powerful. That's right. She's indicating she's learned as a disciple of James Lindsay, the prophet, that actually the woke right are Luciferian devil worshippers. And he didn't just say it here, or she didn't say it here, but James Lindsay has indicated before in interviews in the past that he's had with people, such as another false prophet, the man known as Jordan B. Peterson.
So Lucifer is the morning star, and he's the angel of the untrammeled intellect. That's how he's portrayed in Milton, right? And he's allied in some strange way with the serpent in the Garden of Eden.
If I might just interject, if he's the morning star, what do you do in the morning?
What do you do in the morning?
After the morning star rises, you wake up.
Right.
Woke.
Right.
Deep philosophic thought right there. What do you do when you wake up in the morning? What do you do when the sun raises in the morning? You wake up, it's woke. The woke right are a bunch of devil worshippers. That's why the name is attached to them. What? You attach that name to them before you establish this piece of doctrine behind woke rightedness and the meaning behind woke rightedness. It's so insane, it's ludicrous, and it's always changing. But what would you expect from a godless heathen like James Lindsay? Well, another thing you'd probably expect from James Lindsay is being a disgusting, despicable pervert. Pushes engagement. May 19th, 2022. He's sitting naked behind a plant, sharing it for millions, if not hundreds of thousands, at the very least hundreds of thousands of people to see. Brilliant stuff. Yes, James, that's how you push engagement. We want to see your fat, naked ass there sitting on your phone behind a plant. No. This isn't something that we expect from OnlyFans whores, but that's just it. James Lindsay shares a lot in common with OnlyFans whores posting half-naked pictures of them on X. And that's the fact that they're both sex addicts. And that's very clear with the things we see from Lindsay over and over again. Try not to look at it directly. Smug face. Penis light. Yes, James. Well, what was the point of this? Was this a joke? Comedic value? I don't get it. It's kind of perverted and gross and weird. Like you're like giving public talks on like deep philosophic thought about the woke right and true Christianity and wokeness and groomers, and then you're like, penis. Take me serious, guys. Penis. But no, it's not just that. It's not just him posting weird, creepy, disgusting pictures of himself. No, he's also advocated for really disgusting things. Amateur porn is freedom. That's right. James Lindsay advocates for people making amateur porn of themselves and uploading it to the internet for disgusting gooning creeps like himself to masturbate to and collect. Okay. We're seeing a bit of a trend here. He's posting naked pictures of himself online, talking about why porn is a really good thing that everybody should have, and it's perfectly fine, right? It's normal behavior from someone like James. Most porn, like most of anything else, is bad. But the rare good stuff is great. Okay. So, I don't agree with all porn. I don't think all porn should be out there. But, there's some gems. There's some real gems. Things that really get your knickers in the knot. And he enjoys one particular kind of porn the most. Something that I don't know why he decided to let everybody know that he has an interest in it and that it really speaks to him and he's getting suggested it on his many porn sites and porn accounts, but he decided to post this. He decided to share this knowledge that he regularly runs across. Stepdaughter porn. When you post your porn search as a tweet, freaking boomers posting their porn search, fuck stepchildren. And James Lindsay has to come in here and give his 2 cents here. Like, seriously, it cannot be a healthy sign of anything how much step-family porn is booming these days. People need to leave the house more and lose their social anxiety or something. James, why are you looking up child porn? Why are you looking up stepchildren porn? What is wrong with you? But guys, I'm not looking up. I don't support it. I'm just getting suggested it constantly. It's in the algorithm on the porn sites I use on Pornhub. I'm just getting suggested stepchild porn. Brilliant stuff from James Lindsay, who has stepchildren. He married a woman significantly older than him who already had children within their life. And of course, James Lindsay, marrying this woman, served as a father-like figure for them and helped raise them and groom them, one might say. I voted for Clinton and was super proud to take my bisexual daughter with me on the occasion. What now? We checked out chicks' asses together. Bonding. Oh, bonding? Bonding with your child that you groomed to be a bisexual woman and encouraging that by checking out other women's asses as a married man? Are you really teaching her good family values by basically lusting after other women in front of your stepdaughter whose mom you married? Like, come on here. This is wild. This is absolutely disgusting and despicable. And the craziest thing that comes from this is James Lindsay was the dude who's known for OK Groomer. He started that meme, that trend. He was the one calling other people groomers while being a literal groomer. Literally grooming his stepchildren to be homosexuals and to encourage lusting after random strangers in public. Like, this is crazy. It's very hypocritical. It's almost like James Lindsay started pushing out against porn and pushing out against, groomers and the LGBTQ community to cope with the fact that he committed these sins, that he committed these issues within his own family, that he's directly responsible for. Like, it's absolutely disgusting and wild and shocking, to say the least, that he still kept this fucking thing out there while being the guy saying grooming's bad, but I also have a bisexual daughter, but grooming's bad, but I also checked out random women's asses with my bisexual daughter. It's disgusting and it's despicable. But that's not it. That's not just it, what has to come from it, because with James Lindsay raising these children, they also were of, Zoomer generation, and decided to come out in public and discuss things about their father once they had internet access. James is my stepdad, from Britta Bongwater. James is my stepdad, and I am bisexual. I've been out since I was around 11 years old. 11. Okay? This girl was 11 years old when she came out bisexual. So after James Lindsay married her mom. So James Lindsay encouraged this for this young girl from the age of 11 to be a sex pest freak and to give into temptations of lust and desire because he does. Because he regularly does. And he encourages it. And he thinks it's a perfectly normal part of society. Like, when I meant grooming, I wasn't joking. She was 11 years old. And he encouraged her. Well, we'll be 28 this year. He was always supportive of me. He never started displaying these viewpoints till probably around when I was 23 years old. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch that my stepfather is openly lying to all these people saying he doesn't support this when he supported me from the age of 11 till I was fucking 23. He supported these beliefs that the grooming is okay and homosexuality is perfectly okay and there's nothing to be ashamed with it. No serious problem with it. And she's gonna go more in depth with details on these things here. And we'll see it here. Portraying James Lindsay casually stretching his neck. Woke right? Here it is, Brit Bong Water. Someone really took the time to make a cartoon of my stepdad hanging himself. What? Whoa! Whoa, buddy! Real shocking stuff coming out here. Deep behind the scene lore about James Lindsay and his stepdaughter, just willingly telling us all the dirty secrets and details. Someone also posted a photo of him with my mom and titled it, James Lindsay is a fat idiot with an uggo wife. Talk about his wife and then likes pictures of thoughts every day on Twitter. Yeah, there's a record of that when you could see Twitter lights. But the shocking point here is this. They have an open marriage. It's one-sided, though. Oh, great father figure, great teaching her why you should respect men and be straight. It doesn't play a role in her being bi, him grooming her and being a poor example of a father, checking out random women on the street, but then openly open up their marriage when he starts making money, having clout and attention to fucking random women in the streets that he runs across and gets a little bit of attention from. Not disgusting whatsoever. Just opened up the marriage, just a casual little thing. And even more details. Yep. The open marriage only started in like 2020 though. Not my whole life. Okay? So the open marriage is there. She doubles down. It is truly an open marriage. Well, what kind of evidence do we have of James Lindsay having a bit of an open marriage? Well, one of these women that it's very likely I suspect that James Lindsay engaged in intercourse with and cheated on his wife, and that is the woman known as Nikki Klein. Here's Nikki Klein and James Lindsay together, casually touching each other. I taught him everything he knows, baby. I taught him all the good stuff. How to really get down and dirty. And that's not crazy. Here's them being extra close. As a married man, sharing a beanbag chair with someone other than your wife. This is freaky. This is wild. And I'm pretty sure there's a chub there. But who is Nikki Klein? Why does Nikki Klein really matter? Well, she's a Canadian actor who just happened to be part of a cult called the NXIVM. Just casually joined a cult which was led by a man named Keith Rayner, who was later on convicted of human trafficking and sexual assault in 2020, where he got 120 years. Okay? This lady that James Lindsay is cozied up with is part of a sex cult, a ringleader, member of a legitimate sex cult that was convicted for racketeering and human trafficking. Yeah, they didn't have sex. She's not a creepy sex perv. He's not a creepy sex perv. Just hang out together. You know, two birds of a feather flock together. But that's the crazy thing here, because in the other message here, it was taken in 23rd of April in 2022. Okay? And at that point in time, obviously, Keith Rayner, was already convicted and sitting in federal prison in New York for his crimes and had to wait out 120 years, which obviously he's not going to live through, but who gives a fuck? He deserves it, and deserves a bit more, if anything. But after the conviction, this woman right here, Nikki Klein, continued to defend Keith Rayner and his actions and said he was not guilty of any of these things. He was perfectly innocent. And she was very public about it on Twitter, X, all of the different places and on social media platforms and in public. During the Black Lives Matter riots, they were pushing their agenda that Keith was innocent by using the hashtag Black Lives Matter at the same time. So when James Lindsay was with her and hanging out with her, she was still openly defending him. And it doesn't shock me here that a man who is a Gnostic cultist has a sexual relationship with a woman who is also a Gnostic cultist, while they're both being degenerate sex pests and perverts and sex addicts. So, you put the puzzles together. Do you think James Lindsay had sex with Nikki Klein, a sex addict who joined a sex cult? You know, I think they did. And I'll give you know, him the benefit of the doubt. I'll give James Lindsay the benefit of the doubt that he didn't know. He just didn't know about her being part of a cult, and all he was thinking about was getting his dick wet from her branded pussy. That was on his mind, nothing else. Just getting down and dirty. Because James Lindsay doesn't have morals, he doesn't have values, he doesn't have any expectations within his marriage, which is why it's opened up. No, James Lindsay does what James Lindsay wants to do, as long as he can benefit from it, whether it's financially or sexually. Those are the things that matter most to him. None of these woke right bullcrap or the conservatism being subverted by evil KKK Nazis. No, he doesn't care about any of that. He just cares about getting his next payment. And that's where we'll get back into the bi daughter, being questioned on some things. Because she has a little bit more to say about things going on with herself and James Lindsay. He asked these questions. Does your stepdad have biological children? No. Is he married to your mother? Yes. Does your mother date other men? No. Do you have an OnlyFans? No. Okay. Do you have an OnlyFans? Well, it was 2024 when she admitted to this, or maybe early 2025 when it happened. But she used to have an OnlyFans, actually. And here's her admitting it. In 2020, when she was 23. Ho time, go sub to my OnlyFans. It's $6.50 for the next 4 subscribers. Username is the same as on here. Help me buy groceries. She sold herself out for sex on the internet to pay for groceries. James Lindsay wasn't paying for him. He wasn't assisting her. He was making all this money, but she didn't want anything to do with him because he turned his back on all of his beliefs that she thought he held when she was being raised. But now all of a sudden he's making money challenging those beliefs that he currently was advocating for, and she's a little bit depressed, sad, and disgusted about the entire situation. And I'm not going to show her pornography, obviously, because it wouldn't be YouTube appropriate. But people did find it. They found images and things, and one of the shocking aspects in that image, in her images and her porn that she shared, was that she cut herself. Okay? This is her wrist, full of scars, littered in scars. Am I seriously supposed to not believe that James Lindsay, the disgusting, perverted child groomer, didn't sexually assault his stepdaughter? I mean, there's no evidence, but there's definitely reasons to suspect the possibility. I mean, stepfathers, or step-parents in general, have a higher rate of abusing their stepchildren because they're not actually biologically theirs. And James Lindsay publicly admitted to grooming his daughter. The daughter publicly admitted that from the age of 11, James Lindsay, the porn addict who shared pornographic images of himself online, openly supported her sexual exploration. So, am I really supposed to believe that James Lindsay didn't sexually explore things with his daughter while he was also getting suggested stepdaughter porn? Yeah. I think it's likely. You can't confirm it entirely, but, you know, when it gets a little bit serious like this, I think there's a possibility, and there's most certainly a reason to investigate this matter a little bit more from actual police officers and law enforcement. So I find it really ironic. In our opening video about James Lindsay, where he had all these different things to say about his family and how he really cares about them, actually, when we actually look at his relationship with his family and the fact that he backstabbed them on his beliefs and changed them.
Conscience, the people I care about most in my life, like my wife and my family, looking at me and thinking you sold out is an unbearable thought to me.
It's an unbearable thought. It's an unbearable thought to think that my family and my children would turn and look at me, that I sold out on my beliefs, that I actually betrayed the things that I actually stood for and who I really was. Well, James Lindsay is a nobody's friend. That is why, oh my gosh, I'll just have to put this on the screen because I can't read it. James Lindsay is nobody's friend. That's why he's like this. Real friends would tell him to stop being an idiot. We have tried. He's lost family over this. He's lost family over all of his ridiculous things. All of his different things that he come out and said. One of them being her, clearly. One of them being his stepdaughter, that he clearly betrayed, that he's clearly sold out on his beliefs, that he raised her under since she was the age of 11. Okay? She's 28 at this point in time. Probably 29. So basically, her entire childhood was a lie. And her early adulthood was a complete lie from her father. And it's really sad and disgusting. I obviously don't support raising your children like this, but to actually turn your back on your stepchild and actually accuse your stepchild of being a groomer by your own rhetoric and the things you believe now, when you were the one who groomed that child to behave in that way and to value their sexual desires, yeah, I find it absolutely repulsive and inexcusable. But it's not surprising to me that James Lindsay is a traitor, a treacherous, and doesn't actually believe or hold anything of value. Because at the end of the day, he's a liberal. He openly admitted in his little tweet messaging that he groomed his daughter, that he was voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. And he even came out in 2024 saying that the Constitution is liberal. James, I don't think the Constitution is liberal. I think the Constitution is a skeleton framework for policy that serves as a living document that is constantly reinterpreted and amended. It's not liberal. Conservatives can most certainly use the Constitution in their favor as well. It's not just Democrats that can use it to beat conservatives in the head. But no, according to James Lindsay, the Constitution is just liberal, bro. It's just liberal. So James Lindsay is a deplorable lib-shit sex pest who groomed his daughter to give into temptation of her many sexual desires to become a lib-shitted sex fiend. But he did more than just that. He also turned her away from God intentionally. When I was in high school, I told my parents I wanted to be a Christian, and my stepdad said he was going to sit with me each night and read the Bible to me to show me why it was made up, and an evil book. I listened to him talk every day about how stupid Christians are. I'm not a Christian. It was just a phase. But I'm shocked to see how many Christians follow him and believe he has their best interest at heart, unless something in him has changed and he believes the Bible now, which he doesn't. He doesn't. It's just a real grift. It's a way for him to take people's shekels from them, siphon their money from their pockets, and stick it into his bank account. Yet people still want to listen to him. People still want to listen to what he has to say about Christian doctrine, Christian teachings, and the scripture itself. Christ is king, as it is declared, is a sophisticated and manipulative dialectical trap like Black Lives Matter, and Christians are being baited into it by a few public figures and a band of antisocial troublemakers likely led by a Fed. Well, if they're feds, then you're a ped, and you sexually abused your stepdaughter, you disgusting pervert and freak of nature. But this is why James Lindsay now is so sad, so upset, that people pointed it out. Hey, James, after you made that tweet about Trump being woke right for posting pro-Catholic doctrine, you got deep dived into people searching your background, searching your history, and then your daughter came out and publicly admitted, yes, this is all true, and here's more dirt to go with it, which is why you're canceled and why he's so sad and upset right now.
As I phrased it on X a couple of times, I have some spiritual challenges currently that I didn't have before, but these aren't mental illness. These are dealing with the feelings of betrayal, a lot of anger, the anger in particular that here we get to this point and now we have to do this. Or I just dedicated 5 years of work to helping people as much as I could, 10 really, but 5 dedicated, including specifically to Christians.
Oh, those dirty Christians, those dirty backstabbing Christians, and their morals and values. Why would they look at me and say I'm a degenerate, disgusting freak for grooming my daughter and also making money at the same time for OK Groomer? How could they point out my hypocrisies and my many failures?
Deliberately to Christians, and somehow managed to build up,
they're all woke right
with
Christians,
a very significant number of people, zero goodwill. I didn't build up some goodwill. I didn't build up a lot of goodwill. I built up zero goodwill with a ton of people for 5 years of service. I had so many phone calls. I get called a grifter. Services.
I was just servicing these people. I was helping them out by taking their money. I'm not a grifter. I didn't lie about my values and beliefs.
I had so many phone calls from big influencers that telling me, James, get the money while you can. Charge this much, charge these crazy speaking fees, demand it, they'll pay for it, all these organizations. And I'm like, we got a war to win. I'm not demanding huge speaking fees. I'd rather those resources go to other more effective things. For example, I know turning...
We have a war to win. We have a war to fight, a cultural war. I'm here to help the conservatives with my liberalism. No, James, you're a subversive snake and people called you out for it.
Point could have afforded to pay me a lot more than they did.
Charlie Kirk's bad.
They paid me.
Spitting on Charlie Kirk. This is after Charlie's death, mind you. No. This wasn't after Charlie's death. My bad. It was before Charlie's death. But still, he's complaining about Charlie Kirk not helping him out. Come on, Charlie. You should have given me more money.
In an unfair way at any point.
Should have given me no money.
But they could have paid me a hell of a lot more given the size of their war chest. But if, say they saved $20,000 on me because I didn't ask for a ridiculous speaking fee, that's $20,000 a Turning Point could have turned around to produce materials that they can distribute on campuses to college students or high school students, and I'd rather see that happen. And I had that logic, and people were like, no, James, get the money while you can. Get the biggest amount of money. It won't be there forever. Get the money, get the money, get the money. And I was like, no.
Everybody else is the grifter. It's not me, but I'm not going to name names. Okay, we'll just believe you. All of these forces surrounding you on the woke right were telling you to get money.
My faith, actually, is that if I do the right thing through this, that I will find,
you have no faith.
There will be ways I get taken care of on the other side, or I'll just move on and, so it is. And people argued with me about this, and then the fact is, when I finally get to the point, zero goodwill. Not with everybody. I have a ton of people who still support me and are friends and fans and everything else. But with so many people I thought were my colleagues, my peers, my friends, literally friends in some cases, close friends in some cases, zero goodwill. They said that I went nuts, that they had nothing to do with me. They're calling in and giving me temperature checks to make sure I'm okay.
Maybe they have problems with you because you lied to them about who you really are and what you really believe and what you really value. Maybe that's why. They felt lied to by you. So then they turned their back on you because, wow, this man was actually just a complete fraud the entire time.
And trying to badger me about what I'm saying, it's like, holy crap. So I get pissed off about that. And then
he's angry.
I know in the future, this is the biggest one. Yeah. I'm going to be vindicated on most of this. Probably not all of it.
I'm gonna be vindicated on it! The woke right's gonna mess up conservatism! They should have listened to my atheistic liberalism who groomed children. And as a porn addict, yes, James, you'll totally be proven right.
But a lot of it, almost all of it. And eventually, things will move on. And some of these organizations that have pretended I don't exist for the last year, or some of whom have even badmouthed me,
As they
some
should.
will apologize, most won't.
None
Some,
will.
though, who's James Lindsay? Yeah, right. Who is James Lindsay?
Who is James Lindsay? That's a good question here, folks. Who is he? Well, so far we've learned that he's an adulterous child grooming pervert that bastardizes Christian doctrine and scripture in order to grift his once large Christian audience as a godless heathen that sees himself almost as a messianic figure, a savior, a lord, a prophet that's going to deliver people from the evilness of wokeness, and that he's, instead of just being who he really is, which is a fucking fool. In other cases, James Lindsay can be summed up as a grifting fraud.
Yeah, I'm Batman.
That was a joke, see? He's a superhero. He's the anti-hero. He's Batman. I was the hero you guys deserve, not the one that you needed.
So,
Literally,
some of them
superiority
though, are just
complex.
gonna kind of like in a not shady, but what's the word I'm looking for? Slimy way. They're just gonna start all their way back. Hey James, come back. We want you here again.
I highly doubt
It'd be
it.
great to come to the thing. That not even with an again. No acknowledgement that you just treated me like a leper for a year for telling the truth after I spent so much time with you guys, listening to you, standing on stages with these people.
They treated me like a leper, but they're gonna come back and save me. Yes, James, they're gonna come back to you after you badmouth them, called them all woke, right? Evil Nazi KKK pieces of shit, and that you were always right. Yeah, they're gonna look back at you as like a good person that they could honestly trust.
In front of thousands of people saying we're the people who tell the truth. The truth is on our side. These people aren't, half of them didn't give a flying F about the truth at all.
Really ironic here, saying that Jesus Christ is the light, is the way, he is the truth. Yet James Lindsay has the audacity to call devout Christians, people who confess to the faith which he denies, as not even caring about the truth. James, you don't even know what the fucking truth is.
That's some betrayal on like a ideological or
See?
whatever level. Not like they cheated me, but it's like I thought you were somebody you're not, and I feel like
They thought the same thing.
because I thought you were somebody you're not.
He thought he's like a fool. Well, you are a fool. A big bumbling fool and a tool. And not only that, James Lindsay had even more things to say about his complaints. Because, according to James Lindsay, it's not just that it's his fault. It's not just it's everyone else's fault, but the system's fault. There's literally a mission, a goal, a woke right cabal working in the shadows, trying to shut him down, and his movement to lead people to the truth. Nope.
Pieces and heat it up and then remold it nearer thine heart's desire is how, I don't know exactly how the poem goes. And so breaking it to pieces and making it hot with conflict and tension, dialectical conflict and tension, is the strategy. Making everybody hate each other and fracturing everything into little bits so that they can hammer it back together into a totally new model. So I don't know if the woke right guys tend to know that they're participating in the giant globalist plot to destroy the world, but they're participating in the giant globalist plot to destroy the world.
Right. Right, James. The woke right is working with the globalists, the Chicoms, the snakes, the Jews, and the lizard people to take over the whole world and inflict globalism across the world. And we'll get into that in a later video. But for the time being, I've been the King's Fool, and I hope you all have a good one.